Welcome back, friends. I have another art video for you today. Today we're going to start painting on Sarah's piece. And I think y'all will enjoy that a little more. I think people enjoy seeing the colors than anything. My main focus right now is going to be coloring the Charmander and just getting down a nice base layer of orange. A lot of the shadowing will be added later. Right now I'm just trying to get a smooth even tone and trying to be a little lighter. One more thing before I get started. The current piece I am selling for Valley Children's Hospital, The Gift, is still available. I kind of decide with these charity ones, I'm just going to still make them in the time I plan to make them, but just list them. And if I have a few going at the same time, I have a few going at the same time. I figure I can just keep listing things till it sells anyways. I guess it'll kind of also show me what type of charities people are more prone to care about. But without any further stalling, let's get to some painting today, huh? Welcome back, everybody. So, what are we doing today? You probably already seen in the thumbnail. We are going to be trying to add some color to this piece. So for my reference, I have this little cutout of a Charmander here. I have it up by the water, which will be off camera. In some of the future ones, I might have the colors off camera. I don't know if y'all enjoy seeing the colors or not. You'll just kind of have to let me know what you prefer. Because I could have it over here and have the picture more center. But I'm really used to doing my dipping and work over there, so I'm more like around the page. Because if I have it right here on my writing side, like I would bump it. I would bump the hell out of it when I'm working. Yes, hell, heck, darn, I'm gonna... You know, I'm like JoJo Sweeney when she turned 18. I'm gonna say fuck and poop balls and all them curse words now. So, I know it's probably what you look forward to in an art channel. Now, see, I just erased a line here that I forgot to ink the other day. So, I'm gonna ink that. And I did not test my pen, and I got a bad line, but I think I can go back and save it. You know, I don't think all of this will be in the picture, but I like my pictures to go beyond their borders, so I'm going to be very careful erasing around these lines right now. And I also forgot to get one of my happy little pebbles inked in that I did the other day. Now, of course, I did erase a lot of this the other day, but it seems to be a little more came back. And again, I always prefer the white erasers because any other eraser, it'll smudge. It'll smudge. The pink ones will leave color. They're gritty. You know, they don't really erase. You can still tell stuff was there. You just want a nice little stroke. A little spread out if you have thinner paper. Now, what am I missing here? Oh, yes, my brush. So, don't that look cool? So I got some of my brushes here, as you can tell. A few of them are a little more used than others. Honestly, I have a lot of paintings. I've done the whole thing with one brush. Now, there's one thing in classical Pokemon art. You know, it has those white spots. I'll just pull up some examples and put them on the screen right now. I don't know how else to explain it. And what that's from is the watercolor technique. Now, I don't know this for sure, but what it looks like to me is that Ken, when he was doing them old Pokemon paintings, he would get a big old wet dot and he would drop it and it would bleed out. And he kind of spread out from there. And he would do that and he would leave it and he would leave like he'd do it to the sides and leave the top as a shine. While I always loved that and, you know, as beautiful, as very iconic part of Pokemon to me, I'm not able to do it myself. There's just something, it bothers my brain. So, it's going to be a little me. anytime I say a little me, I mean a little bit me artistically. But you put a little bit of yourself in anything you make, right? Again, I'm going to be mainly focusing on getting down my primary layers of color. And a lot of things like highlight, shine, shadow will be added later, so it might look a little flat to begin with. Now I like to start with the rarest color, and if I look at my example here, just put them on the paper, this little char. The least color I see is the eyes. They're kind of like a nice aqua, like my first Game Boy. Well, actually, got that right here. So, I don't quite have that, but I think one of these greens might be nice. And you know what? Maybe if it is a little more blue, I don't think people would mind a green-eyed lizard. But let's go over to our margin here, where it's not going to bleed over. And I actually think that's really nice. Now, I can always add it and go back. Now, I'm actually noticing a bit of difference in how this Charmander's eyes are and how my Charmander's eyes are, and I kind of like it, so I'm going to pencil something out real quick. This is what you call like happy accidents, like the unexpected things. So this part's black. This is black, and that's white. And then he has it kind of like this. And there's the color right there. It's like that. So, I think like with this one, yeah, it'd be like that, wouldn't it? So, I'm going to add a little bit of line work there. I'm just going to ink in the black parts of the eyes, I think. And I'll come back and erase this. So instead of inking the blue like I thought, we're touching up these pupil designs here a bit. And then I will come back and do these once they dry. And I'll start with the tail. Now, I need to remember to keep my head out of the camera, not steal the focus, right? So, no, I went to the zoo yesterday, and oh man, seeing all those animals, I loved it. Well, like this. I recommend everyone should really go to the zoo if you have a good one near you. I think it's one of those activities a lot of people look down on, especially people of our generation. We're always looking for stuff to do outside, and it's actually relatively cheap to get in. You know, of course, there's the traps inside, but you can bring your own food. You don't have to make it expensive if you don't want to. You can just go and enjoy some nature. A lot of times I go fishing and I don't even fish. I just pick up trash and look at the animals. Last time I seen a cormorant. Oh man, that's freaking amazing. Now, unlike a lot of anime, he doesn't have the lines in the eyes. Here, I'll just go and put some like that. And I might do just a little bit myself to make him look more, because he's already looking so soulful. He's a soulful little lizard. There we go. Makes them look more watery. And then I'll add some sparkles to it. Maybe some tears like I did on Meowth. They don't show up that well on camera, but I think they'll show up a little bit better for you on here. Okay, now that that's done, I actually really like his eyes now. The eyes were my least favorite part. Well, so that's the thing I always say. Never be afraid to go back and work on something. It's never too late. So let's get a nice deep red. Nice powerful red. And this is what I was telling you a few episodes ago. Well, I really like that. With how the calf muscle is hidden here. And I did some tattoo techniques. Made some wavy lines. So I'm just going to go lightly add red where I want red. You know, something I'm curious about, maybe someone could comment this down in the comments. I don't want to stop to look it up, but in America, when we played Pokemon, a lot of times your character was named Chris. No, but it was named like red or blue, depending what. Did they do that in the Japanese ones? Like in Japan, when you got Pokemon Green, did it say like Datsuo or whatever Japanese is for green? Verde-san. Okay, so you see here how when I just dropped the paint in here, that's kind of what I think Ken Sugimura did to paint his paintings originally. I think he got the water on there and then he dropped the color in. And that's actually a very common technique. Let me try. I'm just going to make an example here for you. I want to talk about art a bit. So look, I'm going to get a little droplet of red. You see that? And you see how like quickly it spread out? So you can actually do that to paint. And it gives it a very weird, distinguished look, especially if you're doing trippy backgrounds. Like you may have seen, it was, I think, the third picture I did in the Pokemon watercolor series, the Mew with the Gojo. I'd probably do something like that on the background next time. Or between that and how I made the sky look in The Gift. I definitely want to think of some cool effects. So next time I do a powerful psychic Pokemon, the effects are very powerful. And went back and I touched up that red, and wow, man, does that red... It looks... Oh, man, I don't want to touch it. Are you going to get burned? And here's the thing. I want to use a similar color for his mouth. His mouth looks... it looks a little between. That's more of like an orange red, what people would call orange. Don't look like that to me, but that's what people call it. And his mouth is a bit more of like a reddish pink. So I'm going to say like this. Let's go put that next to it. Oh, wow. Yeah, look, that's completely different. So yeah, let's get that really light because I don't want it to be super bold. And then I can touch it up later with a color pencil. Let's just get in his mouth. See, right now I'm just kind of lightly touching up and I'm getting it where I want it. And I can go back and just add layers slowly as it kind of dries. Now let's get some pink. I think that's about good for now. I think I'm going to add the rest later. And I really want to do those eyes right now, but man, I don't want to mess it up. It's the same with the Telfire. I could add the orange now, but it's going to kind of... What's the word? It could bleed. So I'm just going to move on. Maybe do the belly. I don't like a lot of my yellows because they kind of have a green to them, but that might just be me. So I'm going to do it really light, a little light belly. A little char belly. You know, for some reason, I want to talk about this with some Poke fans out there, because maybe someone can give me a logical reason for why I thought this. So when I was a kid, like many kids, I had that one kid that would just make up lies and bullshit. You know, things like, oh, there's actually twins when they filmed Jurassic Park, but one of them fell in the mouth and died. Okay, so the Pokemon movie, the first movie, you know how Mewtwo has those clones of the Kanto starters? And there's that really badass Charizard with the stripes on it. For some reason, that kid told me that one was named Charcoal. He also told me that if I got the item Charcoal and I gave it to the Charizard in Crystal, that it would turn into that. And, you know, I did eventually get my cousin. We got the link cable and we were able to get all the Kanto starters in Crystal. Like, I got it right around when you fight Milk Tank with the yellow version of Pikachu and turned it into a Raichu. But my point is, I got a Charizard in Crystal, I got the Charcoal item, and no, it does not do it. And as an adult now, I mean, this all sounds very silly, but, I don't know, did you have any experiences like that as a kid? Maybe you had something similar. And it's particularly, did you have this one? Because I wanted to know, like, how much did that kid make that up, and how much did he tell Lizzie told? And wow, I am loving this orange right here. This is some orange. And again, like right now, I'm just trying to get down a nice, consistent layer. And I'll make it more dramatic later. More dramatic later. Of course, every layer is dramatic. See how I did there on the side, so I didn't accidentally go in. I knew what tone I was going to get before I got on the paper. And I will show you in a minute how I make them blend when I meet. And that is with the softest possible. You want your soft bits to meet so you can add more paint, or you can keep going over it till you kind of get it. And sometimes especially you'll get like little borders. Like I don't have one here, but it'll look like that, how it's got the wiggles in it. And you want to just go up to them and blotch. And you just want to gently, you don't want to pull like this, you just want to blotch. Like right here, if I go too far back and I do it, I'm going to get one of those lines. But if I just go to the end, and I kind of, and well, look, that's a bright little rump, isn't it? So I think, sorry, I put the pen in my mouth out of habit. I think the eyes will be about dry now. So I'm going to erase them real quick before I get up there with the color. Oh, wow, yes. Yes. So, now sometimes in these I will use acrylic too. Such as in the gift, the stars in the night sky. And like the shine in a lot of their eyes. And some other effects I'm not quite remembering at the moment. They were all added later with acrylic paint. Because, you know, it's kind of hard with watercolor to get white. You need an outside element. To really have, especially you want to do like stars. And I mean, I love stars. I love cosmos. I would like for some of these to get pretty wild in the future. Now, while most charities I want these to go to are humanitarian, I mean, I do believe in the betterment of science for man. And you do have to face that the only way we're going to make it as a species long term is if we eventually find a way to escape our sun. But that is so far in the future. But you know, oh, I always mess this up, but how's the saying go? Progress is old men planting trees in which they'll know that they'll never see it bear fruit, or some such like that. Pretty much people helping for the future. Now look, I feel a separation darker here, and that's what I'm doing. What I said earlier, I'm going below it and I'm blotching. So I can pull it down and boom. Nice and even little Charmander rump. See, like right here, I don't have very well blended. So I'm going to come back, actually. And then it's really light. I'm going to go over it. Because see, it super darkens up. Even though over here, you barely see it. I'm even going to go over his mouth ever so gently. Ever so gently. Ooh, you hear that helicopter? Probably going to check on a wildfire. I live between a few airports, mainly agricultural and firefighting ones, and you see a lot of interesting planes. They even have a few old bombers as the firefighting aircraft. And one of them, it's a 4-engine bomber, but it's been a 3-engine the last few years. What's funny is down at the Visalia runway, they actually have a similar bomber there, and you can see that it's slowly been missing parts over the years, and I think they've been taking parts off of it to fix up the firefighters' planes. Our firefighters have the largest firefighter-based air force in the world, and I think the largest non-military based. And I believe it's larger than quite a few countries. Really do a lot for fighting the wildfires. And that's why actually the next charity I want to do is wildfire relief. Not only for the animals, but the people affected by it. Honestly, the only people that do good are morel mushrooms, often after a wildfire. And I find this kind of sad and bittersweet, as people will go back to try to see what's left of their home, and there's ashes and morel mushrooms and hippies collecting mushrooms. And it's like, imagine going to your burnt house and there's some colorful person in a knitted poncho plucking freaking morel mushrooms out of the ashes of your home. And it's because morel mushrooms love ashes. They're like like the ancient ideas of salamanders, which led to this actually, or the phoenixes. Wow, and that fire just pops, don't it? And look, I can't really see the calf muscle. I think when I get the Machamp colored in, it's going to go even greater. And of course, what I'm going to do is with the color pencils, I'm going to darken about here and here, and I'm really going to get the shape that light's giving something off. But our little Char is almost done, isn't he? That's right, Char. What? Dump. He's evolving to Charmander. ADD power. Okay, so let's go back to the eyes. What did we think earlier? This nice green here? I think I could do this nice green as a base. And then if I don't like it, I can always go and add some blue highlights with the color pencil. So I'm just going to ever so gently color in his eyes. And wow. Wow, do I love that. What do you think? Just, oh my god. Like, come on. Don't you want to throw a ball at that little face? Oh my god, he's so cute. I just want to... Oh, and that looks good. So, I will be right back. I'm going to step away for a second while this dries, and then we will come back and try to do maybe the rocks around him. I don't quite want to color the Game Boy cartridges yet. And surprisingly, this has already been about a 20-minute video just to color a little Charmander there. And yes, his face is a little lighter, but again, the lighting, like that is intentional. And I think it'll be more apparent in the shadows later on. Before we get on to the next step, I would like to stop and say for a second that, as always, I do take commissions if you would ever like to buy something. And if you do buy or request something from me, I'll probably turn it into a video so you'll get to see it being made. Now, if you don't have money, or you don't necessarily want to buy it, but you want to see it, I am more than open to suggestions in the comments, especially if you think there's a worthwhile charity, or you just have a cool picture idea. If you're like, I want to see Magikarp headbutting Squirtle in the balls, and him being like, oh, and they go into like testicular torsion relief fund for men or something, or I don't know. But I would like to hear your ideas, because even if you're not planning to buy it, I will still paint it if I like it. And I will try to sell it for that charity. I think that would be a cool idea. And that's the thing. If I just paint things I want, sometimes the things other people think of are a little bonus. So I changed my mind. I am going to do the game cartridges by him. So I'm going to try to make this one the classic green. You know how all the carts were like that clear green? Like the Monster Rancher one. I love that game. This one I'm going to make the background green. And I'm going to make that one yellow. I'm going to make the label to the other one yellow. And always... Now the best thing really for cleaning your brush is to have a separate paper. But I just don't... Not only do I not have one today, but I just have gotten to the habit where I don't need one too often. So first I'm going to try to daub the little hidden symbol there. You know what that symbol is and what it represents? So there we go. We got a nice little yellow cart. And you know what? Just because I don't want to forget the importance of this Game Boy up here, why don't we go and color in the Game Boy now? Does anyone remember from the previous video what her original Game Boy looked like. I believe she had the yellow one with Pokemon Blue. So I'm going to paint it all yellow. And some of these parts will get black later on, like the labels and the holes, but we're just going to give it a nice, healthy school bus yellow lemon garb coat, and wow. And then I'll do a little blue. Actually, hold on. As long as I got some yellow. I want really weak yellow, because you might have noticed that Machamp has a tough guy tattoo, and I love these banners when they have that smokers, walls, old yellow to them. So I'm just going to go paint that over real quick, and then get a little more and try to touch it up. Just for the heck of it. Because I have the color here. And has anyone spotted the hidden Pokemon, by the way? And if so, what is it? Who's that Pokemon? It's Pikachu! Alright, now get some blue here. I remember Pokemon Blue was a deep blue, like the specific blue. You know, when I was a kid, and by kid I mean like under 5, and I would go to the beach, I'd look across and I would imagine I could see England. And I would wonder what those English people are doing. And as an adult, now I realize that that was the other coast. I was looking at what should have been Japan. Well, actually, where I am on the map, more so Korea. But I always found that as a funny memory. So, wow, little Game Boy there, just boom, boom, boom. And now I will try to do the rock tomb. And also, this is dry, and I'm noticing there's some... This is what I said before, how I go and I constantly. Now, another thing, like, right, I'm really close to my Charmander. He is dry. You really want to be careful, because this will smear it, and even these will smear it. This will smear it worse in my hand, trust me. It's, whew. I have ruined stuff before doing that. Had to start completely over. Alright, yeah, let's do the rock tombs. I think that'll be a good little... So I'm going to try to go for this goldy color over here. See how that looks. I think that's about right. That's like a Sandshrews scales. And again, I can add to it. I'm going to add to it. I'm going to darken on these later. I'm just trying to get down a nice base. Trying to lay down the base. Was it Ida, Anta, Svea, Lenka, Dota, I feel you, man. You know, I actually, as a young man, I rather enjoyed Bass Hunter, and I got his entire discography. And I gotta tell you, when you try to listen to the guy's entire discography, you know what stands out to me? Is that he really loved that girl that made him that coffee like that one time in the morning, because he has like 6 different versions of that song, and it's on every freaking album. So if you try to play everything, it's just like, I woke up in the morning, she made me pot of coffee, or whatever the heck he says. It's honestly been so long. You know, this is coming to my mind, and I'm realizing it's been so long since I've heard that song that I don't remember the lyrics, and I'm like, that's a good thing. I finally forgot. You know, I always say, I don't wish people harm, just because they're different than me, but one thing that constantly tests my morals is annoying music, because, you know, people say, oh, it's a bit extreme, because you get a song stuck in your head, but you remember a long time ago, I think it was 2005, 6, whenever the Powerpuff Girls were going to get taken off the air, and they're going to have that big Powerpuff Girls sleepover. They're going to play all the episodes. And they had a special little jingle for it. They played it incessantly, every commercial for weeks. And there's this line, something, don't remember to bring a sleeping bag. Or a chaperone, that would be a drag. I've had that stuck in my head all this time. And, yeah. You know, as long as we're on the topic of music I resent. Did anyone else's PE teacher make them dance? Yes, my PE teacher... I've seen this in Japanese schools. The teachers will make them dance to their favorite pop song. My PE teacher, for whatever reason, decided he liked Billy Ray Cyrus. And we had to learn to dance the Grapevine to Achy Breaky Heart. Don't break my heart, my achy breaky heart. I can't take a copyright strike if I use the actual words. Understand? And if you break my heart, my achy breaky heart, right, bro, up and kill this man. Woo! Well, you know, little Billy Ray there. Billy Ray, I doubt you're ever going to see this, but if you do, I'm speaking directly to you when I say this. I later found out in life that Billy Ray Cyrus, right around when Miley Cyrus was being a wrecking ball, he said something like he feels shame for what she's doing, for what she's bringing on her family, and it makes him feel bad. And my immediate thought was, oh, poor Billy Ray, did it break your achy, breaky fucking heart? And it made me feel better. But you know what, Billy Ray? You should be more supportive of your daughter, even in her hard times. If anything, you should feel shame for your fucking self, dude. Like, go fuck yourself. That just made me feel better for having to dance a Grapevine all those Fridays from freaking 3rd grade to 8th grade. But, you know, I guess I can still dance Grapevine, so. But the parachute, they never let you do the parachute in gym. That's what we all wanted to do, right? Was that parachute. They get it out like once, twice a year. They know how magical that is. Like, if you knew you gotta do that parachute once a week, you'd be happy to go to gym. Like, is today parachute day? Instead, it's like one day a year. Okay, so. Let me see how long my video is so far. Alright, 30 minutes. So I think I can give you about 10 more minutes. Before I have to start cleaning up. So I'm going to look up some Machamp reference art, and we're going to start doing our Machamp a bit. Now, some of you might notice I'm a bit peppier, and so I did say painting was a different energy for me. Affects my brain differently. I think it's less concentrating, it's more filling it out, and I get that, yeah, brother. You know, like when people are lifting weights and like, oh, yeah, oh, feel the pump, brother, keep working it. That's how I am with painting. I'm like, yeah, get the cyan, yeah, touch it. Oh, it's so fucking soft. Oh, those highlights, bro, yeah. It's the same part of the brain. And, you know, for anyone that had someone walk into the room while they were watching me make those sounds, and you're failing to explain it now, I am sorry. And you could show them the video, but I doubt this is going to help. They're probably going to be weirded out I'm talking to them directly. Hello, random person's mother. Okay, Machamp. Machamp. I'm gonna put Machamp. Well, actually, I hate iPhones. There we go. This is, I think, one of the images I use for my reference. So I'm gonna go off this one. Kind of hard to have it in frame there. So, you know, a detail I learned about Machamp later in life that always kind of bothered me is this part of him here. What would you call that? The banana support area? Would we put a woodpecker over it the other day? So, that's not like, how do I put this? He's not wearing clothes. That's his body. That is what his body looks like. They're just dark right there. And when I found that out, I don't know, that kind of bothers me more. I'd rather than be wearing underwear, to be honest. And see, I messed up, I didn't like the eyes. I went to Darkwoman, but now I can't paint the eyes. I wanted to do the P in the eyes. You know, speaking of P, I have a secret. No. But has anyone ever watched Detective Conan? Man, I love that cartoon growing up, but it's so corny and stupid now. Well, my favorite moment in all of Detective Conan is it's one of the ones with those kids, and they're crawling around in a field, and he's like, Conan, I found a rock with P on it. And, you know, I should probably grow up, but, you know, if I grew up, I wouldn't laugh half as much as I do, and laughter is one of the best parts of life, is it not? Personally, I don't think you need to be mature. You just need to be mature enough to pass for the situation. I'm sure I'm not the only one that, and I don't mean this in an offensive way, but I put on the white person voice when I go to town. You know, I'm all like, you know, when I want to be nicer, I call it Jeff, because Jeff is the whitest person I ever met. It's also like my service voice. Like if I was working behind a counter, I wouldn't talk to you like I'm talking to you now. I'd be like, oh, hello, ma'am. How may I help you today? You know, it's like Butthead when he thinks he's being nice. Would you like me to service those items for you? Can I help you to your cart, ma'am? Would you prefer paper or plastic? Or when they start like complaining about something that they clearly fucked up and you have to help them. I'm sorry to hear that inconvenienced you. We do have trouble with that quite a lot. But if you like, I am fully dedicated to servicing you and helping you through this issue, ma'am. And me, I feel weird and I feel creeped out when I do it, but you know, people really liked me when I worked at the grocery store, when I could. Actually, really, just miss having something to do every day. I mean, I love my son, but being stuck inside all day kind of sucks when you have to do it, you know? I had to walk away. You know, if you had to choose between your son's mental health or work, and you had the ability to choose, what would you choose, right? They feel selfish even complaining for, you're just bored. It's also the whole thing of, like, money, you know? Things were a lot easier for us. I think I'm just needed. I shouldn't really put this on my viewers, should I? Yeah, it's just what I'm thinking of at the moment. I often ramble when I'm doing these. You'll find that most often my son is at the forefront of my thoughts. Like every parent, he is my world, essentially. So let's paint his special area. You know what I'm realizing now? If this like how I was saying, this isn't like the belt is a garment. They put the belt on, but it's not a colored garment. It's a piece of flesh, right? He didn't have any cheeks. He has no cheeks. How does he go to the bathroom? Maybe he's just like, he's so freaking flexed that he cannot go to the bathroom. The true power of a Machamp. And I'm just going to really lightly get this in here, because first it's wanting to bleed into the gold of my belt buckle, which I'm not digging that. But also, I can always dark it up later, and I kind of want to put shadowing in, so it doesn't look flat, and it doesn't look censored. And it has that 3D effect. Kind of disturbing, a little bit, but, you know, that's the fun of Pokemon, is the oddities. That's what draws you in as much as the stuff you like. Let's get our red in there. Oh, wow, that looks really good. I can at least do his accent colors, you know. The red, the P. Now, this red P looks good, but if you have red P, consult a medical professional. Okay. And we're running short on time. So I'm just going to go with his crest here. kind of the same color as the mouth, but the mouth is lighter. So I think I could use more or less the same color. I just have to be more sparing with it. I'm wondering what color I'm going to use, though, because I don't really have a tan. I could go super light with the brown. I think that what I use for the rocks, the rock tomb, is actually going to be my best bet. I want to get that super soft. So, you see how I have the spread here? I got some more water. I'm just going to drop it in there. And look how light I can get that. And then I'm going to go over his muzzle. His stubbly muzzle. It's kind of make me think, you know, his design reminds me a bit of Jack Officer from South Park. You remember the very early episode. He's like Jerry Lewis. He's like, "Whoop. How can I have seamen if I don't have a boat?" You know that guy. Cartman was like the only one that liked him. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the same color for the... What are those? Ribs, spikes, what have you. And I'm just going to touch them up later. Again with the pencils, because I really want to try to make them look 3D. Like how it has the ridge there. But I don't want to go and ink the ridge in. I want it to be all transference with the color. So I'm going to go over here and... Perfect, because I want this to be so light you barely even see it. I want you, the viewer at home, to say to yourself, what do you even do? You're just lying, or are you just running an empty brush over this paper? And I will tell you this, possibly. No, I assure you there's slight color there. There is just the amount I want. Okay, so this video now has been going about 40 minutes. So that's what 40 minutes of painting gets you with ADHD brain. And, you know, I rather like it. You know, it's these parts it's just like, oh my god, it's starting to look so good. But more importantly, hopefully, who we're making it for likes it just as much, if not more. Now, one more thing, if I could leave you with anything today, remember, whenever doing watercolor, even if you think it's a little bit, pour your water and rinse it outside. Do not pour it in the sink, because all paint is bad for the sink, and even small amounts over a long time can cause a clog and build up. Well, I hope you've had fun today, and I've at least been somewhat entertaining for you. I really love how this is coming along, and I really hope to see you back here when we do another one of these in a few days. Of course, Halloween is coming up, and I have a few things planned afterwards, so I'll get these up for you as soon as I could. Or as soon as I can. You should at least expect one by next Monday.